and welcome to episode 4 of my video series, Warrior to Warrior, the Gita for Beginners. In the previous 3 episodes, we discussed the background story of the Gita. And today we're going to talk about chapter 1 of the Gita. So I hope you're as excited as I am. In order to truly understand the Gita, it's important to approach it not merely as a reader, listener, or viewer, but rather as a seeker of knowledge. So are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1 of the Gita begins with the blind king Dhritarashtra, who is the father of the 100 Kauravas, asking his advisor Sanjay about what exactly is happening on the sacred battlefield of Kurukshetra, where the great war between the 2 sets of cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, is about to begin. Sanjay describes in great detail to the king how the 2 armies are positioned, and he also describes the general vibe and energy that is emanating from the battlefield. Now, how is Sanjay able to do this, considering he's not actually present on the battlefield? It's because Sanjay is blessed with a superpower of cosmic vision, whereby he's able to hear and see everything that's happening on the battlefield, even though the actual action is happening far, far away. Now let's zoom in and see what's happening in the individual camps. On the side of the Kauravas, Duryodhan, who is the eldest of the 100 princes, is feeling a little anxious. He's not quite certain that his side is going to win. Even though the Pandavas' army is much smaller than that of the Kauravas, Duryodhan believes that they have an advantage or two. Not only are they fighting on the side of dharma or righteousness, but they also have Lord Krishna on their side. So what if luck favors them? What's going to happen then? As a result, Duryodhan feels this need to urgently motivate his team. So he goes up to Drona, his teacher, and very cunningly points out to him how the Pandavas, his own students, are gearing up to possibly kill him if the need arises during the course of the war. By doing so, Duryodhan is hoping that Drona forgets how much he actually loves the Pandavas and instead starts perceiving them as a dangerous enemy whom he must destroy at all costs. Now let's find out what's happening on the other side, where the Pandavas are. The warrior prince Arjun is standing in his chariot, and he tells Krishna, who is his friend and his charioteer, to take his chariot to the center of the battlefield so that he can take a closer look at the enemy. And so Krishna does that. Now Arjun's gaze moves slowly across the opposing army, and he sees familiar faces. He sees people he has loved his entire life. In front of him is Bhishma, his beloved grand uncle, in whose loving, protective care he has grown up. He also sees Drona, his beloved teacher, his guru, who has taught him everything he knows about archery and the art of warfare. He sees his cousins and his friends, in whose company he has spent many innocent, playful days of his childhood. It is all too much for Arjun. He cannot believe that he's about to participate in a horrific war where he may have to kill his entire clan. In addition to the outer battle that is about to begin, a far bigger battle is waging inside Arjun's mind. One part of his mind is saying that yes, he must fight for justice. But another part of his mind is saying that he cannot kill people he loves. This internal conflict overwhelms Arjun so much that he puts down his bow and arrows and he tells Krishna that he won't be fighting the war. And it is at this crucial juncture that chapter 1 of the Gita concludes. Wow, whenever I read this part of the Gita, it always touches my heart. You know why? Because the dilemma that Arjun is facing at the end of chapter 1 is something all of us have faced at some point in our lives, albeit on a much smaller, simpler scale. We've all been at crossroads in life where we're not sure of the way forward. Should we move in this direction or that direction? Should we choose option A or option B? We've all felt the pain of not being able to decide. At this point, friends, I'd like to tell you about an important concept. There is in all of us what is known as a rational brain and an emotional brain. Our emotional brain deals with our feelings, emotions, our fears. It is very impulsive. It is the fight, flight, or freeze mindset. On the other side, our rational brain is where we use our logic and reason. Excuse me. When we use this part of our brain, we are actually looking at a situation with the help of hard, cold facts. The rational brain is not as impulsive as our emotional brain. Now, the problem arises when our emotional brain is trying to tell us to do one thing and our rational brain is telling us to do the exact opposite. And that is the problem Arjun is facing towards the end of chapter 1. I'd now like to share with you an example from my own personal life where I was once facing a dilemma where I didn't know how to move forward. Many years ago, after completing year 10 in school, I was at a crossroads. I wasn't sure what to do next. Should I enroll for a science degree or should I enroll for an arts degree? Now, back in my era growing up in India, enrolling in an arts degree meant that you were not smart enough to get into either science or commerce. There was this pressure in general from society that one must go for either science or commerce because an arts degree was not considered cool enough. Now, my problem was that I was not good at science or maths, but I was good at literature and I enjoyed it thoroughly. My rational brain was telling me not to take up science or commerce because I would definitely fail and I would be bottom of the class. But my emotional brain was saying that if I took up an arts degree, people would think I wasn't as smart as everyone else and I would be the laughing stock of my friend's circle. So now I was facing this dilemma and I wasn't sure what to do. Now, when your rational brain is at war with your emotional brain, there is only one way out. And that is to find a middle ground, a kind of sangam, a meeting point where both parts of the brain converge to create a beautiful new reality. So how do you do that? There are a couple of steps involved. Firstly, begin by identifying your core values. What is it that matters most to you at that point in life? Because our emotions are always triggered by our values. All those years ago, at the age of 16, what mattered the most to me was feeling smart. And I was prepared to do whatever it took to feel smart. Okay, so once you've identified what truly matters, see if you can apply logic and reason to it in order to arrive at a fulfilling midpoint. I knew that I wanted to feel smart, but I also realized after a while that there was more than one way to arrive at that same outcome. So I realized that if I took up arts and specialized in literature, it was a subject that I had a God-given talent for. And so I would eventually excel at it. And if I excelled at it, I would feel I was smart enough. And to me, at the age of 16, that was all that mattered. And you know what, friends? I did take up an arts degree. And it is one of the smartest decisions I have ever made. So while watching this video, if you too are currently at a crossroads in life and you're not sure how to move forward, try applying this simple exercise. It'll give you the clarity you seek. So that's it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon in the next video.